All right, today guys, we're gonna work on grayscale. So the grayscale is basically it's a chart that it shows the lightest shade, lightest to the darkest that you can draw. You can draw with your art pencil. The value is a term in art. It shows the darkest and the lightest. It's the same as shade. Okay. We're gonna start with drawing a chart first, the frame. Okay. Use your ruler. Use 10 by 2-inch chart. Okay, and divide it 10 rectangle inside. Once you create this frame, you want to work on value number 0 to 10. So basically value number 0 is you're not actually touching anything. It's the lightest value you can go. So we're gonna work on the value number 1. Okay, value number 1 is you can go with the lightest pressure with your pencil and you fill it out this first rectangle. When you're doing it, guys, I want you to pay attention. This whole inside of rectangle has to be the same value and all around. Focus on lightest pressure and be very slow. Take your time and gentle about it. And then you move on to the value number 2, value number 3, 4, and then number 10 is the darkest value you can go with your pencil, which is last time I said, hey guys, don't put too much pressure so that your pencil, the color looks shiny black, right? That shiny black, you can put it in value number 10. You can go over cross-hatching, guys. Cross-hatching means go multiple direction. Okay, so let's say we can start with very lightest pressure and then hardest pressure. We can fill it this 2 ending first. Okay, you can go as dark as you can, and then inside of this rectangle, guys, it needs to be neat and consistent inside. Okay, and then you can work up to it. Okay, I think working up to it is a little bit easier than going down, hard to light. We want to work on one by one, and then once you're working on it, guys, don't rush it. Take your time. All this rectangle needs to be consistent. Okay. So when you're working on it, take your time. Inside of rectangle has to be all consistent and clean. Usually what happens is number 3, 4, 5 is very similar to each other. Number 5, 6, 7 can be very similar to each other. 7, 8 can be very similar to each other. 8 to 9 can be very similar to each other. But it has to be, each value has to be different to each other. So how do we check it? What we can do, bring some paper or anything that it can blocks the rest of other parts, and then you can compare next to each other. Okay, this value number 2 needs to be darker than 1. You need to see, you can see the differences and move on to see 2 to 3 if those two values looking similar or different. But don't play the trick on your eyes that you putting a little bit dark shading around the line, so it makes it look like it's a little different, but actually inside of it is two different values. That kind of thing you need to be careful about, okay? When you're just working on one by one without blocking and comparing next to each other, what happened is your brain starting to pull a trick on you. These values look very similar to each other. So make sure when you're working on it, work up to it, break it off, see if these two values next to each other are different, okay? So let's work on that. This is very important because throughout this semester, I'm going to referring values with number, okay? Which we are going to use this to next project, which is going to be a sphere, okay? When I'm talking about sphere, I'm going to referring, okay, value number 5, value number 7, then you will be understanding, oh, okay, MJ is talking about this darkness, MJ is talking about this darkness, okay? So take your time, take at least about an hour to get the perfect finished grayscale chart.